Good morning, evening, afternoon, friends all over the world. Welcome to the SWAN 2022 conference, the leading global smart water event. This year theme connecting innovation to impact. We will focus on economic, social, and environmental impact of the data-driven water and wastewater solution. My name is Isnol Muazim, the SWAN Asia Pacific Project Manager. I'm the MC for this exciting Asia Pacific virtual panel. This session is live stream and will be available on demand through below the conference interactive virtual platform and the conference mobile app sponsored by RKDs. The platform will also enable attendees to live stream select session or view them on demand and review speaker details, message other attendees to arrange one-on-one meeting and also networking. So without further ado, let's get things started. As we get going, let me remind everyone to please engage in the Q&A during the panel we are about to enjoy. There are a lot of knowledge and expertise at your fingertips, so let's take advantage of it and enjoy the panel. I would like to start by introducing my Flor, the Executive Director of Waterlinks Philippines, as moderator of the panel. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Isnul. I'm unable to start my video because you have stopped it. Can you kindly restart it there? Thank you. Okay, so good morning to all. I'm Flor from the Philippines. We have with us today four very interesting speakers, 3 cases, 4 speakers, 3 cases from across the region, 2 in Southeast Asia and 1 in Australia. And I encourage all of you to please be active and ask questions because these speakers have a very good story to tell. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker for this morning. He is a senior manager for non-revenue water services of Maynilad Water Services Incorporated of the Philippines. It is the West Zone concessionaire of the Metro Manila private concessionaires, and he has been in this position for the last 14 years. So we have Wiljeim Ariola, please. Wiljeim Laureola.
Yeah, thank you, Mai.
Thank you.
So good morning. So I'm really honored to share with you today our NRW journey from 2007 up to the present, and also I'm going to be sharing with you our the Maynilad's NRW reduction program and how it has drastically improved its services and has increased the people's access to pipe water. So, but before that, let me just paint a picture of who we are as a water utility. So next slide, please. I can see the slides. Isnul, are you already showing the slides? Yes, thank you. Okay, so so we are Maynilad. We are the largest water utility in the Philippines. We are providing water and wastewater services in the west zone of Metro Manila, covering a total of 17 cities and municipalities. And in terms of population, we already have 9.7 million customers and a total number of water service connection to 1.47 million. But before we have reached this peak, there are certain challenges that we faced during the start of our management period. So next slide, please. I'm going to show you the challenges. Next slide, yes. So this is our situation in 2007 in Manila. These are the challenges that we are facing. So in terms of NRW level, we have 66% NRW. We are losing about 1,500 million liters of water per day. And the majority of that water loss is in terms of physical loss or leakage because we have old and deteriorated pipes. And because of those leakage, we have a very poor service level. Only 50% of our customers have good water supply, and the rest or the remaining part of our concession has no water supply to intermittent water supply. And because of also this leakage, we have 81. We can only serve 81% of our service coverage, leaving 3 million people still without access to piped water. So next slide, please. So just to give you an idea of how much water we are losing on a daily basis. So 1,500 million liters could fill up 600 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So that's how huge our water loss is. So you could just imagine how much water we are losing on a daily basis. So next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so when the new Maynilad took over in 2007, they believed that compared to developing a new water source, recovering and reselling NRW was a more affordable solution to improving and expanding our water services. So they believe that just by saving 50% of our NRW, that would be enough to supply the 3 million people who are left without access to piped water. So we needed a robust strategy for us to reduce or to take on this massive challenge. Next slide, please. So can you click all the way up to the last picture? Okay, so that's it. Thank you. So as we at Maynilad, we are a very large water utility. As I mentioned a while ago, we have a total of 9.7 million people in population. It is really very hard to manage our the whole network as a whole. So what we did was to break down the network into a more smaller manageable areas into DMAs. So currently, we have 1,600 DMAs in our network. So doing this, it makes the management easier. It helps us identify the exact locations or the exact occurrence where a leak happens inside our network. And in parallel to this, we also added additional program components that would support the NRW reduction strategy. So next slide, please. So here are some of the program components that we also did in parallel to DMA establishment. So I'm going to be briefly discussing each one of them. So the first thing that we did is the water audit or the water balance. So this is the first thing that any water utility should do before prioritizing any investment. So this is just a baselining of the NRW situation of your company. This would help identify if your losses are in terms of physical or commercial loss. So you could do the necessary interventions for each component. The next is DMA establishment. So this is the main strategy. Currently, we already have established 1,627 DMAs. And then we also added active leakage control. So active leakage control is a proactive approach on addressing leaks. So even before they surface, we already are looking for it through the use of certain equipment like the leak detection equipment. And we also have the integrated meter management. So the integrated meter management, this is more about having an integrated approach on how you deal with the selection, the shortlisting, the procurement, and the maintenance of meters. And then the next is we also have selective pipe replacement. So at the onset, we really don't have the capacity to totally replace all our pipes. So we resorted to selective pipe replacement by prioritizing which pipes are to be replaced first. And we have set some standards, some parameters in order for us to identify which are the most critical pipes that needs to be replaced. And then the next program that we implemented was pressure management. So pressure management help improve or help prolongs the asset's life. So by reducing the excess pressure at night, we are reducing the risk of first pipe burst, and we are also prolonging, maintaining the health of our pipes because of relieving them from the transient pressures and the excess pressures due to the low demands during the night. And we also have a program of hydraulic modeling. So in hydraulic modeling, we are calibrating our pipe network through a hydraulic model. So we are checking our pipes if its bearing capacity is still meeting the demands of our customers, and then if the demands are becomes greater, that's the time we load them into the hydraulic model and then check pipes what pipes are suitable for them. And then lastly, we have the data management system. So as I've mentioned, we have a total of 1,600 DMAs, and that's really very hard to manage if you don't have a robust data management system. So this data management system helps us to this generates reports for us real time. This tells us what areas have problems, and then it also helps us identify the locations or the DMEs which has uh, leaks. So that's the help of our data management system. So after applying all of these program components, these are the results of what happened or what transpired throughout those 14 years of implementing this strategy. So next slide, please. So here is the program outcome. So in terms of water loss reduction, from 2007, we are at 66%. Currently, we are now at 32%, although still very big, but we have made significant reductions. We have already reduced more than 800 MLD or million liters per day of water. In terms of service coverage, we from 81, now we are at 95. We have doubled the number of service connections from we started at 700,000. We have now added additional 700,000. We have improved access to water supply 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from 46 to 99%, and access to above 7 PSI water from 53%. Now more customers are experiencing more than 7 PSI. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the benefits of reducing our NRW. It would increase the operational efficiency. It reduces our operations and maintenance costs, and it provides better water quality. So this is the last of my slide. So thank you for listening. Once again, I'm Engineer Wiljeim from Maynilad.
Thank you, Wiljeim. Just very quickly, since I think we have some time, how did you do this work? Did you do it in-house? Was it outsourced? What did you do?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, actually, we did, especially for the first 5 years when we started off, that was not mentioned earlier, was that when the new operators took over, there wasn't actually an NRW organization or a central NRW division. It was newly formed, so majority of the engineers or personnel working on NRW for that division, our division was really newly hired. So we had to make a lot of programs to develop the competency in terms of knowing how to use this technology, knowing how to approach the problems, and taking on the best practices. So the first 5 years was really filled with a number of different experts coming in from abroad. So we had a partner engaged that time who facilitated that. So Mia actually who helped us bring the international experts to train our people. So that's a very critical component on the success of our NRW management program, is to make sure that you have the competency. So again, we are building on the future. We were looking at really making the program sustainable. So part of the answer to your question is yes, majority of the things we did were done in-house. Specifically, the assessment, the diagnostic works were done in-house. So we only outsource the civil work components of the program. So those are the things that we outsource.
Thank you very much, Wiljeim. Okay, so let's proceed to our next speaker from the Philippines. Now we move over to Thailand. Our next case is on Wastewater of Thailand, and we have two speakers, lady speakers, for you this morning. We start with Carmen de Miguel from Schneider Electric. She is currently the senior marketing manager for Schneider, strategic marketing manager for Schneider Electric, and she has been with them for 17 years. Congratulations, by the way, to Schneider Electric for having won the GWI Technology Company of the Year 2022. And the second speaker, along with her, to speak on behalf of Wastewater is Dr. Molly Rungvetvuthivitaya. I hope I said that right. And she's the innovation specialist of Wastewater, and she has been with the company over the last 10 years. Ladies, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mai. Thank you for the congratulations on the award. And good morning, good afternoon, evening to all the participants in this session. By the way, it's weird because I am physically attending SWAN conference in Washington, but I am virtually presenting in this panel, which is a great one, I have to say. So in my case, I will be introducing briefly a project that, a flagship project, I would say, that we are carrying out in Thailand for Wastewater, one of our customers there. And this project shows the vision of this company, Wastewater, for excellence, to achieve excellence in the business through innovation. So if we rapidly go through what means a digital transformation for a water company, we can identify different steps depending on the level of maturity and the outcomes of this digital transformation. But in a nutshell, we can identify the basics of that, starting from the measurements and the automation in the processes, followed by advanced applications, which addresses process, assets, different needs, and moving them further to the enterprise level. Well, in this project that we are presenting, we are in the middle and the last step of the digital transformation. The main challenges that this project is solving are on the one hand, to minimize the energy consumption for pumping, basically, and to reduce consequently the carbon footprint, also to decrease the water loss levels, ensuring also the water management, proper water management during droughts, and provide asset visibility and decrease the maintenance costs. On top of that, the intention of this company was to business-wide foster the collaboration between departments and remove silos and provide a much more efficient business. So in the next slide, I will just, I'm going to present quickly the solution that we are implementing. The enterprise-wide solution is called Unified Operations Center. It is what you see there in Malva or purple color. And it's a system of systems that connects OT, operational technologies, with IT to provide data management, contextualization of data, system integrations, and visualization of different systems in the company to catalyze the power of data. This integrated view provides, at the end of the day, a single pane of glass in order to manage the complexity of operations, assets, resources, and people in a unified system. In this project, we are implementing some solutions addressing the applications for water loss, for energy, for assets, but the solution itself is much broader. It can integrate many other systems in the company to provide this single visibility. So with that, I will leave the floor to Dr. Molly, who will be providing more details on the projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carmen. Let me first introduce Wastewater. The company supply raw water in the eastern part of Thailand. Our customer mainly include industrial estates and municipalities. We delivering water about 250 to 300 million cubic meter per year, or that's about 80,000 MGD of raw water supply in the area. One of the company's mission is to increase competitive advantages through technologies and innovations. That's pretty clear for everyone in the company. And how to do that, we have strategies to improve customer satisfaction through service quality and efficiency, to reduce costs of production, pumping and distribution and operations, to control and average water loss or non-revenue water or NRW to below 3%. By saying that, our pipeline is mainly large pipeline. The size is about 600 to 1,500 millimeters in diameter. Therefore, with that clear mission in our mind, a project was initiated and we call it a Smart Water project. The main objective of this project is to enhance the efficiency of the water pumping and distribution management. Now, since the whole system, currently we have 512 kilometers long, but back in 2014, we had only about 400 kilometers long. So we think that, as time goes by, the pipeline and pump station, right now we have about 20, is going to be more and more each year. So in order to manage it, the system efficiently, we need a system to oversee the whole operation. Next slide, please. Here is our architecture of the system management. In the lower box, you will see the existing Wastewater system. We currently use a SCADA system to see the operation data, and we have some other systems such as CCTV, billing system, and customer relation management. And we have some power meters at our pump stations. Now, for the new system, the water system that we are implementing, we will transfer all the data from the SCADA that we collected into the system platform and historian. And then later on, we will extract some important data into three softwares. That means we integrate all the data from the system platform into three softwares, and then later on do the data analysis in the Unified Operation Center or UOC. Now, for the three softwares, we have classified into three categories. The first one would be for the hydraulic modeling, and we use quite advanced software. The second one is asset management to perform the asset for, especially just for the pumping and pipeline. And the last one is for power monitoring software. Now for the Unified Operation Centers, for this one, after all the data is do the analysis in each software, we will send it to the UOC and then later show some important KPIs such as cost per volume, the non-revenue water, water balance, energy cost, real time. Because before we implement the software, we did it sometimes weekly or monthly, but now we'll be able to see it real time. And we can have the dashboard, intelligent reports such as the analysis, the suggestions for the operations, for the operators to make their decisions based on some simulations. And also we can present the management report. Now you will see some yellow boxes in the diagram, which are the OPCDA, GIS, and new flow meters and pressure sensors, and also the power meters. These are the new functions that we have to be implemented, incorporate into the system because it requires for the new system. I will explain you a little bit more in the next slide. Next slide, please. Now talking about the three softwares, we have many challenges. Let me first go through one by one for the each software. For the hydraulic modeling, well, in our system, we don't have enough flow meters and pressure sensors. Sometimes we have to go and to install the new ones so that the model can be calibrated accordingly. And for the asset management, we did it in Excel before. I think that's typical for utilities. And now we have to do it in the system. So we have to create the asset database. And now for the PME, the last software is the power meter. We have to install the new power meters in order to support the new system. So it collects more data, basically. Next slide, please. Currently, we are implementing the project. So we expected our benefits to lower the energy costs, to maintain the non-revenue water, because our non-revenue water is already low. So maintaining it to below 3% is good enough for our company. And to increase the machine efficiency, to increase the machine life, to help us create a report real time, which can reduce manpower and reduce time to prepare the monthly report. And obviously, we hope it to increase the pipeline efficiency management as a whole, as a big picture. So yeah, that's what we did at Wastewater for the past 2 years.
Thank you very much, Dr. Molly and Carmen. A quick question: how did you even start with your journey of finding technology partners, and how did you zero in on what kind of software you needed? I suppose you had criteria in choosing these. Thank you.
Okay, I'll answer the question. The software that we had selected, as shown in the presentation, is 3 softwares, which are the hydraulic modeling, the asset management, and the power monitoring. Before we select the software, we did a study that first we find the room for we identify the room for improvements that we need in our system, and we classified it into 3 categories, as I mentioned before. And then we study into how can we improve this in 3 areas, and then we select some to see the software which can be done to for our case that we have, like the problems that we have, which one can solve it. And more importantly, we want to implement 3 systems at the same time. So we look into Schneider softwares, and they all can provide our solutions. So that's how we select these 3 softwares.
Thank you.
Carmen, do you want to add anything?
Yes, Carmen, please. Just a quick question to you as well, on top of if you wish to respond to the question earlier. Schneider is a technology company, and you have a suite of solutions. What more do you think can be added to this, to Wastewater's current challenges that can be implemented with your technologies?
Well, as Dr. Molly said, they were prioritizing their needs, and accordingly they selected the software. But in terms of limitation, the solution, the UOC, Unified Operation type of solution that I presented, has no limitation in terms of integrating other systems, other software suites or elements in the software portfolio. In this occasion, we are focusing on the non-revenue water or the simulation and the energy and assets, but could be other could be added. Sorry, because the software is the Aqua Advanced software actually covers the whole water cycles. So we could be adding plants, solutions for plants, solutions for, in the case that is water was managing storm sewers or wastewater, could be added as well. Water resources. So all elements in the water cycle are covered by these software bricks and could be integrated, plus engineering tools, plus training tools, reporting tools, and other IT components like ERP, finance, commercial systems. So all sort of data sources or systems that are in the company could be integrated in this unified type of solution.
Thank you. Thank you,
Welcome.
Carmen and Dr. Molly. I really am quite interested to discuss this further after Ben's presentation. So let me then introduce our final speaker for the morning. It's not to say that it's not the end, because we would like to discuss at length with all of these speakers. Our next speaker is Ben Steele. He is the Service Performance Manager of Logan Water of Australia. He's been with the company for 11 years. So Ben, please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mai. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who's tuning in. It's great to be back in SWAN, even though virtually. Would love to be there in DC, but good to be participating in this event, and good to see it's back up and running this year. So before I start, I'd like to take the time to acknowledge the Yugambeh people as the traditional custodians of the waterways and country on which we meet today, and I acknowledge their living culture and their unique role in the life of the Logan region. We have much to learn from our elders' past practices in water management, and as the Logan Water, we commit to caring for both water and country by continuing to sustain the cultural and spiritual connection of this vulnerable resource. So thank you very much. A little bit about Logan Water. So who we are. We are located in southeast Queensland, which is in between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. We're a medium-sized regulated water utility that is wholly owned and operated by the City of Logan. You know, we're a highly regulated organisation, and we run about $3.5 billion of water and wastewater assets every year to a customer base of about 325,000 people over 959 square kilometres of region. So our uniqueness is that we deliver a fairly rich profit, or sizable profit, about $220 million. Our direct link back to community is that $220 million, and that profit return to council is then directly reinvested back into the city in much needed community services and infrastructure. So next slide, please. So when thinking about connecting innovation to impact for today, it was really easy for me, I think, to focus on you know, to go down the path of focusing on a significant, large-scale, glitzy infrastructure delivery project, which is in Australia kind of the main focus of a lot of our innovation awards across the industry. I probably wanted to take a different tack to kind of take a step back and talk through the process that Logan Water has gone through and is still going through as an organisation to really think about how we create the space that's physically and organisationally for our people to be able to thrive, and to integrate innovation just part of our DNA and how we do things around here. So a little bit of context over the last couple of years for Logan Water. The city and our region in southeast Queensland is experiencing strong and continuous growth. We're one of the fastest growing regions in Australia from a development perspective, and in terms of our population growth, it exceeds the national average of population growth. And that obviously brings with it, from a service and infrastructure provision perspective, a lot of challenges in terms of the upfront investment. Don't know what's happened there. Upfront investment that's required to keep services alive. That obviously then brings around sustainability challenges for our business. So obviously, as an organisation, as our city grows, the demand on the business to grow and scale with it is obviously increased. We're obviously facing a lot of socioeconomic factors in that we've got a low socioeconomic customer base. We've got obviously a high service need to be able to deliver, and as a business, we don't have the ability to grow and scale and add pricing pressures to customers. So the challenge was, how do we continue to meet the challenges of a growing city and a growing network and service base without putting significant impost on our customers for cost? Obviously, that means that the status quo, the way that Logan Water has been operating, just wasn't acceptable anymore. Yes, the business had been operating successfully. People had been getting clean water, and when they flush the toilet, everything happens as it's supposed to. But I think that the way in which we worked as a business needed to be looked at. Again, we were a very data rich and information poor business. So we had many siloed and unintegrated systems that created pockets of really deep, rich data, but we weren't utilizing that data and information effectively end to end to make holistic decisions as an organization around the way in which we deliver services to customers. And again, the business had been operating many years successfully, yes, many years without any major change to our operating or service model. So it kind of was a little bit of Logan Water needing to keep up with the times. So next slide, please. So we've been undertaking a transformation journey for the past 18 months. And when people look at this slide, I'm sure they say, geez, these are all things that our organizations might be doing. And yes, absolutely, every organization would look to take on one or two or three of these things at any one time. It was really interesting in terms of the dynamic of our business that every single one of these pieces we identified as core elements to either driving efficiency, driving improvements, driving efficacy in the way we deliver service. And so rather than taking a linear approach to improving every single one of these transformational elements of our business at a single time, we have actually ripped the Band-Aid off, and the last 18 months has seen a significant investment in transformation and in our total operating model review to tackle all of these head on. Because building on these existing pockets of excellence in our business and expanding them so that there's a consistent way of working across our organization means that we're able to transform the business to be able to free up capability and capacity where we had redundant tasks being undertaken or manual tasks being undertaken, but also to get that richness out of our teams working together. Next slide, please. There's a couple of core elements as Logan Water has seen into creating that foundation for an environment where our people can innovate and ideate and thrive. One of those is culture. So obviously a really strong culture that's around inclusiveness, where it's safe to participate, where we take a level of acceptable risks, and where people can genuinely feel involved in their committing and contributing to the betterment of community is really important to us. And again, as a community-owned organisation and a council-owned organisation, I think that's one of the greatest benefits we have, is that everything we do, we see a direct benefit or impact to the customers' lives that we serve. A really strong and well thought out but articulate vision. So for Logan Water, ours is to be reliable, sustainable and committed. And again, every single one of our workforce is now behind that vision, and that gives a really clear and articulate way that everyone can be on the same journey and understand that as a business what we're here to do and how we're here to serve our customers. And then I spoke briefly just about our total operating model review, or our service model review as we've called it here. We've been on a journey to kind of break down organizational silos. At the end of the day, yes, we have a focus on infrastructure as organizations, we have a focus on O&M, and we have a focus on support and enabling services and customer services. But Logan Water historically treated them and operated them in a very, very siloed way, where there was, again, very vertically integrated pockets of excellence, but we weren't getting the best efficiencies or outcomes that we could from an end-to-end perspective. At the end of the day, we're here to deliver a single service to the same customer base. So we've worked through, over the last year and a half, an entire reshift of our thinking around how we organise ourselves as a business, as well as looking at the individual roles and accountabilities for every single one of our staff members. Next slide, please. There are a couple of core, I think, ingredients that for an organisation and for us to be successful in this space, we've had to kind of lay the foundations for. And we've got a couple of, I think, mantras that we adhere to here at Logan Water. And I think for us, the exploring the art of the possible is really, really important. We've come from a place where, as a government organisation, a tolerance to risk is not very high, and a tolerance towards doing things differently has traditionally not been very high. This is around challenging the status quo. This is around encouraging that every idea is a great idea. And for me, you know, the art of the possible is exactly what SWAN's about. Is about understanding what others are doing and how that might apply to us here at Logan Water. I apologise to all the engineers and scientists who might be listening in, but I know that perfectionism is not just a Logan Water trait, it's an industry trait, and we all strive for it given the important work that we do. But I think what that was doing for us as a business, it was hindering our ability to progress. So we believe in done is better than perfect. Making small iterative steps and scaling over time is something that we're really, really believe in. And cross-functional teams produce better results, and you're not alone. At Logan Water, part of our team is actually a public-private partnership with Downer, Stantec, and WSP, who are integrated into our workforce at almost every level and almost every function. So we believe that, you know, we've been able to achieve great results by breaking down those internal silos, but also tapping into the partnerships and the knowledge and expertise of those around us. And I think the last but definitely not the least key ingredient for this is strong, active and visible leadership. Our team members are only going to take results or take risks if they see their leaders willing to support them. So I think these are the core ingredients that we see as successful. Thank you. Next slide. So just in terms of you know, creating this environment over this last couple of years, and this is to say by no means that we're anywhere close to being perfect or finished or where we'd love to be, but just a couple of examples. So the top left-hand side is a screenshot of our common information service. I talked before about unintegrated siloed data and information. Our team has developed with WSP Digital as our
Kindly
partners.
wrap up, Ben. Thanks.
Pardon, sorry?
Kindly wrap up. Thank you.
Yep. In terms of being able to present a single source of data, we've got Australia's first zero discharge treatment plant into a river. Again, this is just examples of how things can be delivered. And on the bottom right-hand side, just a very simple way in which our teams have come together to create an isolation lockout system for our network to make sure that every time we're doing planned isolations in our water supply network, our staff can be safe. And I'm really proud of that one. That one's just won the National Safety Awards at the Australian Water Industry Awards dinner a couple of weeks ago. So I think there's, again, lots of opportunity, lots of great things, but creating that environment where our people can thrive is a really important piece. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ben. For the last 18 months, it seems that you guys are really doing quite a lot. How would you measure then the impact of what you have been doing over the last 18 months? What is success?
Absolutely. I think for us, there's the bottom line stuff is around, we're not driving up costs to customers. We're improving the quality of the service we're delivering to customers. But I think for us internally, it's around efficiency. So we're able to free up resources that, whether it be financial or otherwise, to invest in doing higher value work. And we've seen that we've been able to free up some of our team members to, rather than get out of the mundane doing everyday things, that they're now able to focus on some of the projects and innovations that they've been wanting to for years, but just from a capacity perspective, haven't been able to.
Thank you, Ben. I think we should now proceed to the panel discussion. So if we may exit, Isnul, from the presentations, and can I have the panelists back? Kindly turn on your video so we may see you. We have already some questions from the floor. So quickly, I'm reading it as it goes. From Ayer Selangor to Maynilad specifically, how does integrated meter management help in NRW reduction in your experience at Maynilad?
Yes, thank you. So actually, prior to having the integrated meter management, so the different activities related to meter were undertaken by different units in the company, such as the selection, the procurement, and the maintenance. So we really had to integrate all of those functions to have a consolidated approach that was cohesive and really attended to the requirements in terms of meter management. So basically, through this integration, it helped us to get the right meter technology for our water utility. And also, with the integrated meter management, we now have technology that help improve or decrease the illegal connections that are being done by our customers. So we have made the necessary technologies that would deter those activities.
Thank you, Wiljeim. A question to Dr. Molly from Pani Energy. How long did it take to implement the modules that you had identified? And can you explain more on the implementation challenges or lessons that you have learned in the experience so far?
Okay, we totally implemented 4 modules, which consists of 3 softwares: the hydraulic modeling, the asset management, the power monitoring, and the last one is unified operation centers. So all 4 softwares modules, and it's gonna take us about 2 to 3 years to finish implementing all the 4 and finish at the same time. And the challenges we mainly have is that we transform from into a digital transformation. So the data that we had back then before going to digital, they're all like in papers, and we have to collect from many departments, not from one single person. So it took us some time to gather all the data. I think that's the major challenge from us. Yeah.
Thank you. Carmen, anything to add on that? Has it been an easy journey so far with Eastwater, or this is just par for the course for Schneider Electric?
What Molly was explaining before is real. So they did a screening in terms of technology in order to select the right supplier, the right technology. So we went through different workshops with them, with their different teams, with our experts, in order to convince the customer. So this customer has a real clear vision to where they want to go and what they need to achieve. So the targets were very clear, the priorities as well, and they just needed to select the right technology. But there is there have been some challenges in terms of data quality, or aligning on the right tools in order to speed up the implementation. But I would say that this is a complex project that shows the clear vision, and also I would like to highlight the innovative approach of this company, which is sticking out in the region, and what they are doing is being looked at and followed closely by others who are willing to do the same. And this solution is being replicated in other companies, because they are setting the stage, I would say, for transformation and digitization in the region.
Indeed, yes. Thank you. Ben, in your experience, did you have a similar experience with Eastwater? You studied what your options were and then zeroed in on what you needed? And did you find technology partners like Eastwater did to implement?
Yeah, 100%. So using a common information service, the pain point for us was, as a member of the executive team, I couldn't put my finger on just basic performance data for our business to understand how the business was performing. So absolutely, our solution was, we want a single stop shop where we can find this data and information. And we were really fortunate to be able to work with WSP Digital, who have been literally building a bespoke platform for our business, where we can push and pull data from all of our individual sources in a common place, bring data integration together, analyze data from different systems that gives us just a totally new depth of understanding and view of how our business is performing. So it's a really powerful tool now. Now our challenge is to understand how we use the data to make effective decisions.
Thank you. There's another question from the floor. How do you create, Ben? How do you create the buy-in that you talked about?
Yeah, I think bringing people on the journey is always the hardest thing, because it's always easy in this space to do things to other people. And I think it's around, as a service provider internally, understanding the needs and pain points of our business. So if our operators don't have the things that they need to be successful, how can we help deploy capability to make their jobs easier and make what they do safer, more reliable, and more efficient? Similarly with our planners, what data do they need from our field crews to understand how they run and hydraulic model our network and the way in which our services are provided? So for us, it was around, we could absolutely come to town with a set of out-of-the-box solutions, but it's really important to make sure that the buy-in comes from you're solving an operator's solution, you're solving a practitioner's problem. And if you can get some wins on the board there, then I think the buy-in piece comes naturally, because they want more. You give them one win, they want to come back because you can do something else for them then. So
low-hanging fruit, indeed. Okay, so to the three utilities, I have a question, and the question is it worth it? Because this is always the challenge of utilities, especially in developing Asia, cost. So is it worth it, and is it affordable? Can we start with Eastwater, Dr. Molly? You're muted.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot to mention about the cost of the project. I mean, for us, it's just a fraction of cost of our assets. We have 20 pump stations. We have 500 kilometers long of large pipelines. So investing in the technologies, the digital transformation, is only a fraction of our assets, and it's worth much more than we can think. Yeah, it's like you give someone a tools to work on or perform your daily routine. Yeah, I think that's important.
Thank you, Dr. Molly. Wiljeim, Maynilad's experience?
In terms of cost for the technology. Yes, actually, at the start of our project, it was really big. The capital investments, the capex, it was really huge. But as the years go by, as the systems, our network has improved. So the recovery from the non-revenue water, and after reselling, it has helped us to buy or to purchase or to invest in capex. So actually, it's worth it to upfront, and right now we are reaping the benefits of the program. Although we are still spending at around $400,000 annually, but we are looking at reducing this capex expenditures as the years go by.
Ben? Thank you, Wiljeim.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. I think we start with the question, what's the cost of not doing something? So I think for us, it's around efficiency and value. We definitely understand that, to make improvements, yes, there has to be an investment. So for our water loss approach at the moment is to look at how we might drive that down. We lose $7 million annually. We invest $300 to make a $500,000 saving. So absolutely, and I think, as a community-owned organization, customer-owned organization, it's even more critical. But yeah, definitely. But I think where we've gotten to as a business is we've been able to say no to things if it doesn't make sense, where it doesn't stack up, but then look at what it might be some smaller scale, more, I think, less costly solutions to still solving the problem.
Yeah, so I think indeed, across the experiences, investment in innovation resulting in efficiency is worth it, because obviously it pays for itself, right? And that's the long and short. To Carmen, perhaps wanted to quickly check, are there other utilities in Asia Pacific that you are talking to? And maybe next year we can hear of new experiences. Please.
Of course, there are many others. We are a global company, and in Asia Pacific we have a lot of customers in Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia. So I cannot disclose now the names, but we are, as I said, we are replicating this solution in other customers, and we are working with many other customers implementing our smart water solutions for the water cycle.
Then maybe we hear a new case next year, Carmen.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, yes. Yes, it will be our pleasure.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions for each other at all? I mean, would you like to clarify from each other? Maybe, especially amongst utilities, it's always good to exchange experiences amongst utilities. Anything at all? Looks like the presentations were clear. Is it? Okay, so with that, can I give each of you a very quick 30-seconder just to close and tell the audience that if there's one take that you wanted the audience to pick up, what is it? Let's start with Eastwater, Dr. Molly.
Okay. Based on our project, I'd like to share our experiences. Well, you can never be 100% ready for digital transformation. You just have to start doing it. You have to learn it to overcome the challenges, if many of them, but overcome it and keep on improving the system, because there's lots of opportunity on the digital transformation. Yeah.
Thank you. Ben?
I think the richness of opportunity about collaborating. So as an industry, water is one of the greatest sharing industries I've ever worked in. I think we're not going it alone. So yes, we're all going through our own journeys and digital transformations, but for me, it's the learning is take advantage of networks like SWAN to reach out and understand how others have gone through the journey, take lessons learned, and understand how it might apply to you.
Thank you, Ben. Wiljeim?
For us, in terms of NRWL management, so the program allows us to delay any capital cost investments or development of new water sources. So this actually enables us to focus our investments elsewhere where it is appropriately needed.
Thank you. Carmen?
Yes, I would say that digital technologies are there to help overcome the challenges. So don't be afraid of failing, just prioritize your needs, set up a strategy, start smaller, and then you can enlarge the scope and choose future-proof systems in order to allow for that improvement and extension.
Thank you all. So the messages are very clear. You have to start somewhere. Your system will need it. It will make you more efficient. It is affordable. You don't need to go 100% first. You can start small.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of technology providers out there who can help you. And of course, joining SWAN can help you find the appropriate ones for your specific needs. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I would like to end this session, and I hope participants, you were able to learn something from the experiences of these three excellent water utilities from Asia. Pacific includes Australia. Thank you very much.